All right, we good. Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom lakam, which is peace unto you all. Anachna wahai bar sha'alai with the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, to preach you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Nachamatam, Kayah, Malakat Hashemayim, Kwara, repent ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, we're going to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Kodash, wa double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and rule well. And much respect to you bros out there pushing his truth with our righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
So, before we, cut the record on, essentially me and the brother was going into, the silent weapons for secret wars, because we understand that as pursuant to, in the Old Testament, that hatred, that eminence ultimately is it never went anywhere. Essentially it's warfare. It's a spiritual warfare amongst what Esau being the he's in the head position right now as pursuing the prophecy. All right, and then we have us who's the prey. And ultimately he set against us. So could we start with that? You have precept?
Yeah, I did have a quick precept.
Yeah, you go ahead.
He was going to how right now these devils, these Edomites, are in the head position right now, and it's all according to biblical prophecy. I'm gonna get a quick precept, bro. This the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24, and it reads, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Now it says the earth is given. Now who is it appointed by to have the so-called white man in that head position in the planet Earth? It is by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So it's divine, ultimately for prophecy's sake.
Right.
Of Jacob and Esau. Jacob being the protagonist, the righteous in the planet Earth, the Lord's chosen people, and Esau being the wicked, the antagonist or the villain, if you will. So right now, Esau, he's trying to hold on to a temporary blessing because the Lord gave him control of the planet Earth, but it's only temporary, pursuant to Job 14 and 5. This devil has bounds that he cannot pass, and he's coming to that point. But right now, this devil is in the works right now because he's seeing the great awakening of the Israelites, Yahweh Shema Shah, working on his people. And right now, he's setting up laws and legislations to essentially criminalize, demonize Israel, the prophets, the servants of Yahweh Shema Shah, for teaching this truth.
Right. Could you get that?
Huh?
Could you get that? Could you get Amos 5? Yeah.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 5. How's that? Amos 5 and 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate. They abhor him that speaketh uprightly.
Right. So essentially, like you went into, bro, Job 14 and 5. He got bounds that he can't pass. You see, but then also, Job 20 and 5. Scriptures say that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
That's right, bro.
So with both of those in mind, all right, those are culminating together. All right, Esau ultimately is ruling off of a lie.
Right.
All right, and that's ultimately because he wasn't given, the blessing of the Spirit, which he ultimately has that natural enmity, because us as Israelites, we have, natural enemies, with Esau, Edom, being the chief enemy.
That's right.
So in this enmity, all right, it's a war, all right, in the spirit. Right. And ultimately, it's a war on the minds, as we went into, me and the elder brother priest Amon went into, it's a war on the mind, and Esau ultimately has 2/3, you see, but who he really has that enmity with, all right, is the prophets, you see, because, we pose a threat to this man's society. He wants to rule in unrighteousness, all right, he wants to do, because scriptures say that the Lord requires that which is past, right. So we are that constant reminder, that constant glance in the mirror that, hey, nah, you ain't shit, nigga,
Yep.
That's what you did. That's what you did. We the witnesses,
Right. That's right, bro. That's heavy because 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8, the Lord said that the wicked would be revealed,
right,
and that he would consume them by the spirit of his mouth. So just adding to your point that the main ones that these devils hate, they hate all Israel. They hate all the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, but they hate more than ever the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Can I get this in the NLT, bro? This is Amos 5 and 10 in NLT. It says, "How you hate honest judges," and that's who the elect is. That's the prophets. We're honest judges. We have no guile in our mouth. We're teaching 100% truth. We're waking up our people. We're even exposing the true identity of the so-called white man and the rest of these heathen nations. So this house of cards or house of lies that Esau has built is all tumbling down, or as the scripture said, we're pulling down his strongholds.
Right.
It says how you despise people who tell the truth. So there's only one people that's telling the truth, and that's the elect of Yahweh Shemashah, the prophets.
Right, because see, what Esau didn't ultimately consider, he didn't consider the latter end.
Ooh.
When you look at the Hebrew word for truth, it's Amath. Ah is the beginning of the Hebrew alphabet, Bahalat Bayath in the alphabet.
Okay.
All right, Ah is the beginning, Ma is in the middle, Tha is at the end. So truth, it goes from beginning to the middle to the end. What he didn't consider. He didn't consider, all right, because a untruth or a lie in the scriptures will be shakwar. The last couple letters before you get to the Tha, he didn't consider the ending part. You see, and that's ultimately because he's going off of that lie. Could you get Job 20 and verse 5, Abkushah?
Okay. This is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 5. Baba Kushak can start at 4.
Mm-hmm.
This is Job 20 and 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Right, and you got people that are pathological liars, all right, in which Esau is the main pathological liar, but you got pretty much the point is that they get a rise out of, lying. So Esau ultimately, because the reason why I bring it up is because, it'd be that little season to where, you're like, oh shit, it ain't gonna be no consequences.
Right.
You see, but we understand that the scriptures say, it's gonna be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him, roughly paraphrasing. But it's not gonna be well with the wicked. Now they shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, and roughly paraphrasing. So it's gonna be an account made for all the different traps and snares and different warfare tactics that Esau Edom has ultimately set up as pursuant to Psalms the 50th chapter. It goes into how, could you get it real fast?
I got you right here.
Yep.
This is Psalms 58 and 3.
You get that too, but after you get that, could you get Psalms 50 and I think it's verse 21?
50 and 21?
You get yours first.
Okay, This is Psalms 58 and 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And I just got that just to add to the point. Some people are pathological liars. Well, Esau, he born lying. That's why the scriptures say he's the father of it.
Physician of no value.
Physicians of no value. So you can't trust a thing that this devil puts out there to the forefront, especially as he's about to try to demonize us with this truth.
Right. We got a small example. It was really, I guess, a large example, but he was made a liar when it came to a lot of people really felt. That's why scriptures say in Psalms 97 and 7, confounded be they that serve graven images.
Yep.
Roughly paraphrasing, because you had people that ultimately confided in that idol that Esau Edom ultimately set up in that juice.
Yeah.
All right, you see, but now they pretty much they're feeling they got that feeling of a shame. They're confounded. They're confused. They don't know really what to confide in.
Right. Doubt to falsify. Then deleted millions to billions with a simple juice. And what did they say? At first it wasn't mandatory.
Right.
And then they wrote it to where you gotta take it.
Right.
In order to go to work. Yeah. Throughout establishment, you want to go to the restaurant, you still want to do your bread and circus out and about. You had to take the juice. Right. So that shows you that's essentially a silent weapon. Because people conform off his word.
Right. Let me get this. And then we get that. But this is the because this something else that pretty much sparked this lesson. It says silent weapons for secret wars. And it says the descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. It says everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators, but only in its own manner of functioning. And scriptures that come to mind. Revelation 6 and 4. He took peace from the earth. Scripture in Genesis goes into how he was blessed with that great sword, in which it's not just one sword. All right, it's multifaceted. All right, so going into these silent weapons, it says, I'm gonna read it again. It says, but only in its own manner of functioning, it shoots situations instead of bullets. All right, in some of those situations, all right, putting Jake, Jake has to deal with just a certain situation, scenario, or occurrence. Esau don't have to worry about a cop riding behind him. His heart don't drop. He don't get that stomach in his feeling like he riding a roller coaster when a cop hop behind him.
Right.
He don't have to worry about socioeconomic the problems that ultimately arise in socioeconomically challenged areas. All right, and i.e. The inner city. All right, the hood. Esau don't got to worry about that shit.
Right.
It says it shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing. All right, like we was talking about, bro. The credit scores. They don't got to worry about the credit scores. Jake come out the womb, like the scripture going to Jake come out the womb with a 200 credit score.
Yeah.
So
they don't gotta worry about credit score, getting loans.
Right.
They set. Because this is Esau Edom's heaven.
Right. It says instead of a chemical reaction explosion originating from bits of data, instead of grains of gunpowder from a computer, instead of a gun operated by a computer programmer, it says instead of a marksman under the orders of a banking magnet, instead of a military general. It says it makes no obvious explosive noises, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. So it can't necessarily be pinpointed, all right, but it can be pinpointed, you see, because when you look at the trauma passed down from generation to generation from our forefathers, we still, Jake, we gotta look at our kids, like look double takes. Esau, they raise their kids differently just because of the different things that has not been set up in their society. They grow up with generational wealth. And Jake don't get it's by a long shot if Jake actually gets something of some type of work.
That's facts. Because like essentially that right there, with everything, especially economically, being against us, that destroys generations. Like instead of Esau just taking out one Jake, let's say by a cop, that right there, well, you see how destroyed Jake is, and ultimately it goes back to the curses. But Esau played on those curses, But I got that Psalms 50.
Uncle Shaw.
Is it Psalms 50:19?
You start from 19. I think it's in 21.
Okay. This is Psalms chapter 50, verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son.
Right, that's verse 20.
Okay.
Slanderous. Can you get the word for slander?
Okay.
Should go into Nathan.
Let me get that in the blue letter. Pull it up. But yeah, that's Esau though. That's either false accuser.
Yep.
The slanderer, or the devil. With that the Greek word diablos.
Yep, diablos. Yep.
Huh? And what's that word? Psalms 50 and 20. The word slanders. Yep.
Nathan.
Yep. Nathan.
Yep. So.
14. Nathan.
He gave it a little twang, but Nathan. So pretty much, it goes into set. Nathan means to set, to place. But when you actually get into it in the interlinear, it says to place snares. So that's those situations. He'll put it to where, they won't say, all right, we're gonna make it for socioeconomically challenged areas. They'll say, okay, we're gonna put an HOA, in a neighborhood. That's code talk, for no niggas.
Right.
Which I mean, you don't really want to be around niggas, but like that's pretty much how they solid weapons for secret wars. And it'll be set up that way. Because in the socio-economically challenged areas, what you got? You got the ABC store.
Yeah.
You got the liquor store. You got Popeyes, McDonald's. Everything. Yeah.
All that.
Everything meant to destroy. Because that old mindset, it never went away. Could you get that? Could you get it was Genesis, I think 25 and 41 or 27, 41.
27. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 27. And verse 41, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days, and that heart is his mind.
Mhm.
Hebrew word ha. The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Right. So that enmity never went anywhere. All right. We seen it was during that time. All right. It was in the time to where, you know, the Babylonians essentially took us into captivity.
Okay.
All right. We've seen it in every time period. You know, Esau always had, he's always that hating ass nigga.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's essentially what's on his mind. So in this time, you know, he ultimately wants to put it to where, you know, we stay at the bottom. All right. Judith, the 5th chapter, you know.
Okay.
You got a precept, bro?
I had a just to add on to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you ever heard that song about YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's essentially Esau
Yep.
in a nutshell against the tribes, against Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see Nero 47, his administration coming up against Israel, the Northern Kingdom specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see these devils, these small hatters trying to set up against the prophets of
Right.
Israel in general. Trying to label us anti-Sem.
Mhm.
We are Shemitic.
Right.
Right? And we you know, we go through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Mhm.
Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau like them. Alright, but they trying to label us anti-Sem, and they trying to put hate speech, hate crime out
Mhm.
there. Like I was mentioning before we cut on the camera, that Bill C9 up in Canada, they trying to make harsher penalties against hate speech. And who's the label what hate speech is?
Right.
Or hate crime is.
Right, and that's why in this chapter, I'm gonna start. You had anything else?
No, that was it.
This is Psalm 64 and verse 1. It says, "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy," in which we already spoke about who's the enemy.
Got
It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." You know, so
Right.
technically Esau is he's a Shemite. Technically,
Yeah,
he's Hebrew.
He's Hebrew.
He's a Hebrew Edomite.
Hebrew Edomite.
You know, in which the world don't know that,
Right.
but that's because how he has ultimately done his secret counsels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what he does is he does it by those silent weapons for secret wars. All right, he makes a school system.
Got it.
All right, and that's why they have things like the school school. I think it's the school to prison pipeline. All right,
Yeah.
where you're taught a certain way to think. All right, they don't want you to be a critical thinker, but they want you to be a thinker in their society. All right, what do you need to do here or here? They're already essentially growing people up,
For
you know?
slaves, to be slaves,
Right.
workers.
Pretty much to be
And I want you to be entrepreneurs and
Yep.
succeed, even though you got a lot of Jake
Mhm.
that's going outside, thinking outside the box and kind of succeeding. We're actually doing better than Esau out here.
At this point, you know, that's that Deuteronomy 30:7. You know, because he felt like all this was gonna be. And could you keep going in that because that's gonna go to that, I believe it might be verse 16. You might gotta go up.
Which ones that is?
It talks about how thou thoughtest that I was all
Psalms
together.
50.
Yep.
Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50. Let's see here. Yep. Psalms 50 and 16.
Mhm.
But unto the wicked, the Most High, Yahweh Shemashah says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that,
Because Esau essentially, attempted to take the scriptures upon himself
Yep.
and manifest destiny, which the Lord was dealing with him on the left hand side, but
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't in reference to righteousness, but he took the scriptures upon himself as if, he was righteously doing this,
Right.
but it was really left hand means. Why do they have it to where they got scriptures? Why do you swear in the Bible when you go and take some type of oath? You're not supposed to do that,
Yep. You go into his court justice system,
Mhm.
you gonna tell the truth, nothing but the truth. They call us a God-fearing country.
Mhm.
Hell, Esau went around the world colonizing in the name of Christianity.
Right.
Now these devils, 2026, these
Mhm.
devils walk around with small hats, wearing all black, saying
Right.
that they the people of the Lord. But they actions show everything that they are the seed of the wicked.
Right.
The Edomites.
Right.
It says, but unto the wicked, Yahweh Shemashah saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth,
Mm-hmm.
seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if this is a God-fearing country, why ain't the law, statutes, and commandments the standard in the earth?
Right.
Why you come up with your own laws and legislations, which there ain't no justice coming out of it? You know, it's wicked, man. Everything is tied and geared towards them succeeding, their greed. You know, them ruling over the people. You know, you look at how the state of the earth is and the people in Babylon. They're mourning. Edomites mourning out here
Right.
making videos. Edomite woman, mainly.
Yeah.
Making videos against these devils, man. That women are against them. That shows you that these devils going down.
Right. You go down to Bible shot verse 21.
It says, and when that and go what verse?
Read down to
Read
verse
down.
21.
21.
Uh-huh.
It says, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers.
Right.
Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
Because the scriptures talk about how he continually blasphemes the Lord, which has done in both word and in deed, you know.
God. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. That's Jacob. That's
Right.
Israel, the tribes. Look how they painting Northern Kingdom. They immigrants. They the reason the country going to shit. You know, they paint Israel or Southern Kingdom as niggas, thugs, spics. You know, he slanders his own brother's son, mother's son, but he's the one that create the environment of the hood and the ghettos. Like you said, in every Jake neighborhood, there's an ABC store.
Right.
Or you know, heathens setting up shop in your store to feed you poison, and keep Jake away from, you know, getting loans, succeeding. You know.
Right.
It says, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thy own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence.
It says, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. All right. Ecclesiastes 3:15. You know, the Lord requires that which is past. So it has to be an account, you know, for the things that have been done in history. You know, it's not just going to be unaccounted for.
Right. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
Right. So Esau felt like the Lord wasn't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like he felt like he wasn't going to be punished for this.
Right.
You know.
And like you was bringing up that term, manifest destiny. Well, like Elder Malcolm says, manifest destiny has a part too. You got the Israelites, scriptures, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So you had your run. You had your eon, your age to rule. But now it's coming to that point to where Jacob, the Yahweh Shemashah, is raising up Israel and about to send forth his only begotten son to come get the elect.
Right.
And through that, when Yahweh shall return, it's a wrap for you devils, man. It's a wrap for you Edomites. It's a wrap for the rest of you heathen nations. You're about to go into slavery, captivity, like we've been preaching and teaching all these years, man. Like the elder apostles, elder bishops been teaching all these years. The house of David, all right? The kingdom of Yahweh, the kingdom of Israel is about to be established in this earth. It says, thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes.
And that's what's happening. All right, Revelation 11th chapter. All right, and ultimately them seeing us stand upon our feet, you know, great fear is falling upon them.
Come on.
And ultimately being that we don't stand for the society, that's why scriptures go into, you know, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and then also he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey.
Yep.
So we know we don't stand for this society. You know, it's this world is in gross darkness, you know, so when it's gross darkness and, you know, someone has light, just through the spirit, you know, naturally it's going to, scripture say we're a spectacle, you see, but, you know, just going back to the point is that, you know, ultimately being that we're illuminated through the spirit, you know, Esau, Edom ultimately doesn't like that because he knows that, you know, when we are at one with our power, the Lord is with us, you know.
Right. I wanted to go back to that Genesis, Genesis 27:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So yeah, for you Israelites out there, it's deeper than just you being so-called black and brown. It goes back to the blessing. This is an ancient hatred that these devils have towards us. And here this devil set up his whole kingdom geared against you Israelites, against you tribes, man, and against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. So this thing is coming to a head.
Right.
You know, we're out there teaching, we're preaching, Esau can't do nothing about it. Going back to Acts the 5th chapter, if this was a man, it would come to naught. But if it's of the Most High, you can't do nothing. You're going to be fighting against Yahweh Shemel Shai. This devil know that he can't touch the prophets right now.
Right.
He can't do nothing against his truth. He done try to send vocab, his little flunkies. He done tried to get, which you got a lot of Israelites that done sold out to 501c3. But you got a remnant, 7,000 men that will not bow the knee to the image of Baal. And that's the elder apostles, elder bishops, and the men of the great millstone. Men that's teaching 100% truth, man, the elect. And he can't do nothing with us.
Right.
He can't buy us out. He can't take us out right now.
Right.
You know, but you know, this prophecy that we're gonna have to go through Jacob's trouble. That's just the point that we're getting to.
Right.
The persecution, the tribulation. And right now this devil, he's setting everything in order right now. So when he pushed this beast system, the mark of the beast, he gonna have that legislation to come up against the prophets.
Right.
Hate speech. Oh, they're against what we got going on. They're against, you know, essentially the government.
Right.
They're gonna call us T's, you know, terrorists, you know. But hey, Yahweh Shemel Shah gonna be with us though.
Right.
That's the only thing he didn't factor in. Alright? But I did have a precept if you didn't have one, bro.
Yeah, what you got?
This is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. And that devil is Esau Edom. That Greek word diablos, the false accuser, the slanderer. Oh, and also another definition, the man that plays the part of the devil, showing you that it's literal men, a nation of people, the Edomites, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So yeah, he gonna come with the demonization. You got stupid Israelites out there like the Scarin. They gonna take all that footage of them being out there with sticks at camp, you know, different altercations, fighting or whatever. And then, you know, Esau got his AI. He gonna paint that narrative. It's gonna be bad. But Yahweh Shemel Shai gonna vindicate this remnant.
Right.
You know? Hey, Yahweh Shai told us we're gonna be cast into prison, Revelation 2:10. Alright? Fear none of those things that we're gonna have to suffer. But hey, after 10 days, hey, he told us to be thou faithful unto death, and what we was gonna receive, that crown of life.
Right.
So yeah, this just the rite of passage, the straight gate that we gotta go through.
That initiation.
That's right.
Yeah, that was pretty much all I had, bro.
Hey, likewise, bro.
Conway, Adawan Tazaza Banaya Parlos, that was a beautiful edification to the spirit. Wadawan Taza Atam Yashia Wam Tawab, Lords, will you have a good day? Well, we can go ahead and close it out by saying Kar Halaim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that told us his truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing his truth with our righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.